Hey, yo, what up? It's your boy. I want to preface this video first and foremost in saying that no, this is not some kind of drama type of video. If you guys know me, you know that drama is the last thing that I want to be involved with. I think it is cringe as hell, and this is more so just me talking about a problem that I feel has been persisting because of a growth of a certain type of content creation, especially here in Japan. And that content creation is IRL streaming. Now, for those of you who have been living under a rock and perhaps are not in the age group that watches live streams, IRL streaming is essentially where, as the name suggests, you go outside in real life IRL to go stream outside in public places, whether that be out at a restaurant or just out on the street somewhere at some kind of amusement park. Really, anything goes. And for the rest of you who are aware of IRL streaming, you would know that it has been exploding over the last couple of years. I feel especially since the pandemic kind of finished or at least died down a little bit, and we've been able to more freely go outside to just live our normal lives. Streamers have kind of taken on this idea of taking their content outside of the room, trying to innovate their content in different ways. And look, I'm not necessarily a massive fan of IRL streaming personally. Like, I don't really watch a lot of IRL streamers. Hell, I don't really watch a whole lot of streamers, period. But I do understand the massive appeal that IRL streaming does have. But it is also unfortunate that over the years that IRL streaming has been around, the reception to IRL streaming and IRL streamers has been very skewed, in the sense that there has been a lot of controversy that has slowly brewed up as a result of IRL streamers. And there was this one IRL streamer in particular that a viewer of mine actually notified me through email. I had never heard of this person before up until I saw this email, and I went into a deep dive, and it's what compelled me to make this video. Now, just for the record, I am not going to be showing this person's face. I'm not even going to be mentioning this person's name. I'm just going to refer to him as S. Mainly for two reasons. One is because I really don't want this person to get any sort of attention, whether that be positive or negative, because it is the type of content that I strictly condone. And two is because this person is not the only person who is responsible in the current situation that I'll be talking about. I'm only using this particular person because I was notified of this person's actions on stream and came to realize that the rabbit hole goes further down than I ever would have anticipated. But essentially, through this email, I found out about this particular streamer who is living here in Japan, who does a lot of IRL content all over Japan, and has been kind of blowing up recently as a result of their IRL streams. But here's the kicker. The reason why this person has been blowing up through IRL content is not necessarily for the most positive reasons. In fact, I feel S has kind of taken the liberty to be as controversial and as disrespectful and as just outright crazy as possible to entertain a bunch of what is seemingly very young, impressionable audiences who just want to see crazy shit happen on stream for their own entertainment. Which, look, I get it. You know, it's like the reason why, like, you know, fucking World Star exists and has existed for so long and still continues to exist is because at the end of the day, we are curious creatures. We want to see shit go down on stream, and we want to be in a third person perspective, away from it all, with a bucket of popcorn, sitting comfortably in our gaming chairs. But the issue here is that there are different levels of being controversial, especially when it comes to being controversial in a public setting. And I mean that in two ways. Public as in like actually being outside, interacting with people who have nothing to do with the stream, and public in the sense that it is publicly available content that anybody can go and check and recheck on the internet. Some of the things that this person was doing and the things that have been clipped of this person doing in live streams across Japan are very ill-mannered, not very nice, very disrespectful. Being disrespectful to a lot of Japanese people, especially a lot of people who are just like out in public, but also disrespectful to other content creators who are in their streams. And when I saw this, and I saw these clips, and I saw this person and the wacky shit that this person was getting into on their streams to an audience, and it almost seemed like they were proudly showing that to their audience, it made me realize that this may very well potentially be a massive problem. Because at the end of the day, the actions of streamers like this will directly reflect not just other IRL streamers, but also just content creators who are trying to make an honest living in Japan. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. Well, see, in Japan, the whole concept of content creation, whether that be through YouTube or Twitch or any other medium, is still a very new concept for a lot of people. Mind you, the term YouTuber didn't even really become a thing in Japan until way later compared to the West. Now, there's a number of factors as to why that happened, but the biggest factor is that, Japan at the end of the day is an aging population. And a lot of that aging population does not get their information from the internet. They don't watch YouTube videos. They don't watch live streams. They still do the good old-fashioned television in the living room. Which, look, is nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are still a lot of young people who watch TV every now and then as well. But the problem here is that the information that is garnered from this new YouTuber thing or online content creator thing in Japan is also very heavily controlled by traditional media. And there have been a lot of cases in Japan where just saying the word YouTuber comes with a kind of negative connotation to a lot of Japanese people. And the reason why there is that whole negative connotation is not just because television networks are looking at YouTubers and seeing it as a direct threat to their livelihood and audience numbers, but it's also the fact that we've had past examples here in Japan of YouTubers or content creators doing some really fucked up shit. I said I wasn't going to name drop anybody, but I have to in the case of getting this point across. But just think back to when Logan Paul visited Japan. Now, I know a lot of people might say, oh, that's very low-hanging fruit and whatnot, but the things that he did in Japan, and I'm not just talking about the whole forest thing, like everything that led up to that point in Japan, of all the videos that he made with him and his friends in Japan, doing the most disrespectful shit that I've ever seen, ever. I mean, like, I made a video on my main channel back when that whole news broke out. Like, this was some serious shit. The consequences that came as a result of that was a very large majority of Japanese people and Japanese society viewing YouTubers, viewing content creators, including live streamers and Twitch IRL streamers, as this very negative thing. Just hearing the word content creator or YouTuber comes with a lot of negative side effects for the content creator. Case in point, as a YouTuber myself who lives in Japan and makes content in Japan, a lot more using public places all across Japan, it has just become so freaking difficult to get filming permission, to get access to a lot of places, to even get like simple interviews, purely because they don't take YouTubers seriously. If you're not part of like a television network in Japan, it is so difficult to get traditional Japanese companies and traditional Japanese workplaces to take you seriously as a content creator. Hell, the Japanese taxation office doesn't even view YouTubing as a legitimate occupation. They just see you as freelance. There's some places even deem you as being unemployed. And trust me, this is coming from first-hand sources. This was the exact thing that I got, and I am a freaking resident of this country. Let alone someone who is not a resident of this country. Let alone, say, a content creator that is on a business visa or an entertainer's visa. Just sticking that and keeping that and being able to make content freely in Japan is really freaking difficult compared to other countries. And look, some people might say, oh, bro, it's not that deep. But I genuinely think, as someone who is in a similar position to this particular IRL streamer, S, and the things that he does, it really scares me that if something like this gets even bigger, then it can cause bigger issues for everybody else in that field. Because once Japanese people get access to clips like this and the shit that this particular streamer has gotten themselves into in public with Japanese people, it's only going to cause that negative stigma to increase, which not only makes it difficult for that particular streamer to make a living and have a prosperous career doing what they do, but it makes it difficult for everybody else who does similar work to do the same. Like, when is it going to get to the point where we have another Logan Paul situation, or God forbid, something even worse, and it gets to the point where we can't even hold our head high up and say that we make content on the internet for a living? It's just going to make it really difficult for people who are trying to make a more honest living doing this kind of content to make an honest living doing this content. And look, I'm gonna directly, I guess, talk to S, because let's be real, people are probably going to find out who this person is because the internet isn't stupid. I'm aware of that. I've seen the clips of you doing some really fucked up shit. And no matter who you ask, it is some fucked up shit. And look, you probably got some really bad influence from the people you surrounded yourself with. I get it. You know, you're built up in a lot of ways, personality-wise, and are molded by the people you surround yourselves with. If you're surrounded by good people, then you will, in a lot of cases, be a good person, and the vice versa is also the same. In your case, you just happen to get yourselves into a situation where you became friends with people who, I would dare say, are not very good people. Not just in the content creator side of things, but just people in general, or at least the side of themselves that they choose to show to their live streaming audience. And the other factor might just be the fact that, you know, the clout goblin got to you. And look, clout is a terrifying commodity online. It is truly something that can change a person like that overnight. Just once you get a little taste test of what the clout goblin can actually give to you as a content creator. And look, there is nothing wrong with like getting clout online, especially if you want to make this a career, right? Like I totally get it. But the last thing you want to do is for the clout goblin to consume you entirely. What I mean by that is no amount of clout is worth or excuses the absolute disrespectful, ill-mannered stuff that you are doing to your public audience and to just innocent Japanese bystanders that you just happen to rope into your streams to make it a little more entertaining for the man-children audience that you have unfortunately built up. And look, I don't know you as a person, right? You could be a good guy for all I know, but you know, as of right now, I don't know who you are like. You could be the nicest person off stream, but again, that doesn't excuse the shit that you've done. Not every stream of yours might be like that, and I totally get it. Maybe this was just a one-time thing, but the problem is that it did become a one-time thing, and it became a one-time thing that not only has been clipped numerous times, not only has birthed the spawn of countless subreddit threads that I have found, but also it's something that is still publicly available. It is still something that your audience or any other person can very easily access and watch, and if the circumstances are unfortunate, can influence a future content creator to be like, oh, that's how I make a living. That's how I get the clout. Which, look, I'm going to let you and many other people who are probably doing this, because I'm absolutely certain this particular person, this streamer that I'm talking about today, is not the only person who is doing this. We've had previous examples of people doing this, and we're probably going to see more people who are doing this and are currently doing this as well. I'm addressing all of those people now, or even people who are watching this video who perhaps that thought never even crossed their mind. Doing disrespectful, ill-mannered stuff, whether that be through IRL streaming or YouTube content or anything that is publicly available entertainment, is just not worth it in the long run. If you want to have a prosperous career that lasts a long time and want to leave a legacy by the end of it that will leave a good taste in people's mouths rather than a sour one, then doing this shit and grabbing for the first closest clutch of the clout goblin's hand is just not the way to do it. Because once you get a bite of that clout goblin, then you're going to want more. And the things that you're going to do is just going to keep on escalating to the point where you either won't be able to keep up with it, or your audience becomes bored of you and you lose the viewership that you worked so hard to get to by doing the most nefarious man-child-like shit. And look, again, if I might be thinking too deep into this, you know, and if that is the case, then just whatever. This is just me trying to get this off my chest, because the other issue that I have with people like this is that it directly harms people who are doing similar things, who are also doing IRL streaming in Japan, but doing it in a respectful, good-mannered way. Because, newsflash, it is actually possible to be an IRL streamer in Japan and be respectful of the people, be respectful of the culture, and have a large audience all at the same time. Sure, it might not be as easy as doing some fucked up shit on the streets of Japan and doing things that may even possibly get you in trouble with law enforcement. Because there are also clips like that that I saw of this particular person, and it's scary. But at the end of the day, it will lead you, if you are good at it and if you are dedicated to it, it will get you to the point where you'll be able to have a prosperous career, but also be in good spirits with the Japanese culture and the people and your audience all at the same time. So again, I'm not going to name drop this person because I don't want to give him any attention, direct attention anyway. And look, if you find out who this person is that I'm talking about, then good on you, I guess. I mean, again, I know the internet isn't stupid and they're going to find out one way or another. But the whole point that I wanted to make with this video, and I guess the commentary I wanted to give as a result of this particular streamer, is that it is not just this person that I'm talking about. This person is just one of probably many people who are jeopardizing the longevity of a lot of content creators who are just trying to make some good content in Japan. And trust me, as someone who is also doing the same thing, I don't want to get it to that point either. I love this country and I love making content here. And if I can have an easier time making content and be in the good graces of the Japanese people at the same time, then I want it to be like that for as long as I do content and as long as content creation in Japan exists. So I hope that S, if you're watching this, because you probably are, just letting you know, man, like, it ain't worth it. It really isn't. And, you know, maybe you saw that and you have learned your lesson and you are just, you know, trying to do more honest IRL streaming content, in which case, good on you, man. Like, I'm glad that you figured that out. If you haven't figured that out, then let me be the first one to tell you. Doing this kind of crazy, controversial stuff and disrespecting the Japanese culture just so you can please your 12-year-old audience who is looking for trouble in the first place is not the way to go for anybody in any circumstance. And for those of you who are wanting to pursue IRL content or content creation in Japan, I say go for it. But also understand that a certain level of respect and dignity needs to come with it as well. Yeah, sorry, this is unlike a lot of other videos that I do on this channel. Normally we just read a bunch of Japanese news articles and laugh at it, or, you know, I talk about music and anime and things that I like. So apologies for this one, but, you know, I felt like it was kind of important to talk about. And yeah, thanks for listening. But anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. And hey, if you'd like to support the channel, make sure to smack my face right here to subscribe to it. Let's keep making big channel number go bigger. Over here next to my head is a couple other videos you can check out if you enjoyed this one, and the links to all my social media, my TikTok, YouTube shorts, which are blowing up, by the way, thank you. And if you want to support me directly, my Patreon is all down there, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.